This WVU basketball report from the NCAA Tournament in Columbus, Ohio is brought to you by BrickStreet Insurance. Your business, your people, you're covered. And we welcome you inside Nationwide Arena here in downtown Columbus, where the Mountaineers, as you can see, are getting ready for their opening round matchup against the Bulls of the University of Buffalo. Jay Jacobs, you know, it's one thing to plan all season and hope all season that you get to this point, but once you really get here and the press conferences are underway and you see the Mountaineers practicing, it's good to be back to the NCAA Tournament.
Oh, it is, Tony, and I think what you have is you have that certain camaraderie that you see people that you haven't seen before, but the game itself is big because usually in this first round there are a tremendous amount of upsets throughout this tournament, and you don't want to be one of them.
No, absolutely, and that has been the talk here, obviously, with West Virginia's matchup as a 5 seed against a number 12 seed. Earlier today at the podium, legendary Duke performer, now the head coach of the Buffalo Bulls, Bobby Hurley, talked about Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers.
Well, I obviously have a ton of respect for all he's accomplished, and I've enjoyed watching his teams play because I respect teams that play defense and that are tough, and his teams reflect that. Their team this year, I don't know if there's a team that gets after it any harder on the defensive end with their pressure and how physical they are and how they rebound. So, that's a great formula for winning a lot of basketball games, and they don't stop. They keep coming at you for 40 minutes, and they've been in a great league, and they've made some really good teams in that league look average.
So obviously Buffalo has great respect for West Virginia, and on the other side of things, Bob Huggins took to the podium, and as you might expect, very impressed with this Buffalo team.
Well, I think the biggest thing is they really try to play downhill. They do a great job of pushing tempo. They do a great job of creating numbers. But that's kind of what we like to do too. So, and I think they've taken on Bobby's personality. I think they're extremely competitive and play extremely hard.
Hey, Coach, just wondering, you had Juwan and Gary up there. Wondering how they've been in practice. I mean, do you think they're both 100%?
Juwan's been terrific. Gary's been good. Probably not as bouncy as what Juwan's been, but they're both good. They're both going to go.
In addition to Bob Huggins, Mountaineers seniors Gary Brown and Juwan Staten were also at the podium.
You've had an opportunity to see Buffalo. What are your impressions of them? What concerns you the most?
Juwan, would you start?
Well, they like to play in transition. We do a lot of pressing and trapping, and we ultimately want to turn teams over, but they get out in transition and they're heading downhill pretty much every possession. So that's something we definitely got to get back out of our press and play good half-court defense.
To be honest with you, I feel more happy for him because he's a senior. He never been in an NCAA tournament, and for him to go back now to his hometown and play his first game at NCAA here in front of his family, his friends, and everybody is very special. When you're a senior, you wanna go out with all the great memories that you could possibly get. And I have mine in Puerto Rico. Now he's gonna have his in his hometown. So I feel very happy that we're here now. We gotta do the same thing that we did in Puerto Rico, do it over here.
So, Jay, when you start to break it down then, they like to go back and forth up and down the floor. Obviously, West Virginia's press is the storyline here. What are your keys to the game?
Well, you've got to make up for those presses, Tony. You've got to score points on them. You can't get yourself caught there and not doing that. You got to rebound the basketball at both ends of the floor and be patient on offense. Don't turn that basketball over and guard the threes.
Should be a good one here. Tip-off is set for 2:10. Our pregame coverage on MSN Radio begins at 1:30. Along with Jay Jacobs, I'm Tony Caridi here on WVUsports.com. This WVU basketball report from the NCAA Tournament in Columbus, Ohio has been brought to you by BrickStreet Insurance. Your business, your people, you're covered.